So I'm here with my friend Mango. And how did you get that name?
Well, going back to what we just talked about,
Yeah.
our first trip down to Dominican Republic in 2000, I think it was 2011,
Yeah.
to go visit my wife and I, and we met some really nice Dominican guys down on the surf beach.
Yeah.
And Dominicans is all Spanish, so at the time, ¿qué es tu nombre? And I said, Kurt. And my Dominican guy was like, Kurt? Kurt? I said, Kurt. No, Mango. So my Dominican friends named me Mango in 2011, I think, and it just kind of stuck.
Okay,
And
so you grew up in California?
Yeah, I was born in Southern California.
Oh, you're a California guy.
Yeah, grew up in Southern California until I think it was about 66, and then the family moved to Northern California, the East Bay.
Which did you like better? You like in the South or?
No, at the time you're a kid, so you just go with the family. But growing up in Northern California was a lot of fun, because back then we were in the East Bay, a little town, Orinda, California. It was just over the hill from Berkeley and that.
Wow.
So at that time it was a little small town, lots of dirt fire roads and that. So, as a kid you have a mini bike.
Oh, I remember those.
You just never come home. The kids nowadays, they never go out of the house. And
I know, they
my
stay
mom,
home. I know.
as soon as we could get out of the house, we were gone.
I remember the little Briggs & Stratton engine, like 4 or 5 horsepower.
Yeah, 3.5. I had a
Yeah.
Tecumseh on mine because I didn't, I couldn't afford a Briggs & Stratton, so mine was a Tecumseh. But yeah,
I think it was a Briggs & Stratton. I don't remember.
they all did, yeah. But the mini bikes, $60 was my first bike at 12 years old. It was my first two-wheeled motorcycle. So I've been on a motorcycle for 53 years.
It just gave you such freedom. Like, there's a hill.
Yeah.
Of course, I might have no lights on. The cops would chase us. We were allowed to have them on the road, on the street.
Yeah.
Rode them anyway.
Yeah. No, skateboards, bicycles, and as soon as you have a mini bike, then it opens the doors
Yeah, that
to
opens everything.
a whole freedom.
So you're in California, graduate from high school, and you said 73?
72.
72,
Yeah.
wow.
Gala.
And you had no intention of going to college or anything? Or did you
Well,
have idea
I
what
was
you wanted
17, you know how you are at 17, you're partying, goofing around, and having a great time, and I didn't really into school. My parents basically gave me a choice, go to school or get lost, do something. So, at that time, I was, I appreciate what they were thinking about. Who needs a teenager hanging around? You got 5 kids. They were done, and so I understand exactly their mindset.
Where'd you fit in the 5, like older, younger?
I was the second oldest. My older brother, then me, then my sister, and then down the line, 2 sisters and a brother. So, like I said before, I'm just don't know what I want to do with my life. I'm 17 and just having a great time partying with friends, and I see a poster, a life-size poster at the post office of a sailor and his whites and his little white Dixie cup looking out in the ocean, and I thought, well, that looks like fun.
I remember that poster.
Huh?
I remember
Yeah?
it.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, did you see the commercial on TV, It's Not a Job, It's an Adventure, or was that later on?
That was later on, but
Because I remember that
certainly for me
commercial
it was
too,
an adventure. The next thing I know, I'm signing up for 4 years, and thinking that, I'll have a job. And at the time I was in the Northern California in Orinda, so Concord was, two couple cities over. I thought, well, I'll just sign up and I can go work at Concord Naval Weapons Station,
of course, yeah.
and I'll have a job and an income, and I can still party with my friends.
Yeah.
Well, and then they got shipped out, and went to San Diego.
And was the war still going on then? I mean, the war was, but I mean, the draft. Was the draft?
No, the draft. I just missed the draft, and so, but some of my buddies didn't miss it. But I missed that because it was a tail end of. This was in 1973, so it was the tail end of things. Vietnam didn't stop till 75.
Right, remember.
So next thing you know.
So what was basic training like for you? What was that like? Did it still shock? Or?
No, it sucked. And this is a funny picture here. This is what I did. So when you go into basic training, they interview you when you go in after they cut your hair off, and they say, well, does anybody know how to play an instrument? And of course I was a drummer in high school and that, conga player and that. And
so you were in a drill company?
Well, they gave you a choice. Smartest move I ever made. They said, does anybody know how to play an instrument? And I go, oh, I waved my hand. And next thing you know, I get pulled out of the lineup, 60, 70 guys, with about 5 or 6 of us. And instead of going to basic and going to do all the obstacle courses and everyday grind, we would go into the practice hall with our drums and our drum and bugle corps.
Wow.
And so we would play music while everybody else was.
I was in a flag company. I was one of the guys with the flags.
Yeah, then you know.
Yeah.
Drum and bugle corps. So that was the smart move, because while we were practicing, these poor guys were out there running and the San Diego heat on that obstacle course was horrible. And of course,
I remember that.
We could see the Marines on the other side of the fence running around there, just, they were dropping like flies.
Well, I remember guys that couldn't take Navy boot camp and they tried to run away and go AWOL.
Oh, yeah.
They jumped over the wrong fence.
Exactly. Remember that?
Yeah, they'd keep them for a few days and they'd be begging to go back to the Navy.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that was boot camp. Boot camp sucked. I hated it. I was all lonely. I had a new girlfriend, and you go through that stuff. And but then we got orders out of there, and I thought I was going to go to Concord Naval Weather Station, and I ended up going to Millington, Tennessee.
No, you've probably never been in Tennessee before, huh?
Not Millington, Tennessee. I used to say if the world were ever going to have an enema, they'd put the tube right in Millington, Tennessee. But it was a good experience. They taught me hydraulics. Basically, my orders were for hydraulic school, flight controls. So I went there to hydraulic school.
So how did it go with the training? Like every day you go to a classroom? Or
Yeah, you go to classrooms there every day, probably 8-9 hours a day.
Wow, that's a lot.
And then in between, then you go to PT, and you go march to the grinder, and they're still beating you down. They're never done beating you down.
So it's almost still like basic training in a way.
Yeah, they're still you're still march to class, march here, do this and that and the other thing. So you still don't have any much as far as free. No
days off.
Well, you get on a weekend, they give you a little bit here and there. I do remember that, because we went to special services and got out on a lake in one of those little small sailboats. What do they call them? Oh my gosh!
Sunfish or
sunfish? Sunstar, whatever they are. And my buddies and I would go. We found some old black man in the middle of nowhere sell us moonshine. So we drink moonshine and go out on the lake with this sunfish or whatever it was and just rage around. So it was fun. You figure out a way to burn off the tension, but
restriction.
Yeah, so a couple 3 months of that, and my buddy Bruce and I got the same orders to go to. After you learn your trade, you go to a type aircraft school. So we were assigned to A6s, and off we went to Washington to the type aircraft school. So now you go to apply your hydraulics training and flight controls to the type of aircraft you're going to be working on. So off we went to...
How long is the training of these different trainings? Is it like a month, 2 months?
Yeah, a couple months here and then a couple months there. It's pretty intense, they're pounding you. And then they figure whatever you don't get in school, you're gonna figure out real quick out in the field when we...
On the job.
Yep, on the job training. So Bruce and I did that, and took off and got orders to the USS Midway, and I had no idea. And I was going, I was going to go down and back to California, go to Edwards.
That's a famous ship, right?
Yeah, it's a museum now. So
yeah, it's the one in Hawaii, right?
It's in San Diego.
It's in San Diego. That's right. Yeah.
So we took off and got orders to the USS Midway, which was home ported at the time in Japan.
Wow.
So they put me on back to San Francisco and put me on a 747, which hadn't been out very long, and 21-hour flight later.
Is this one of those like cargo planes where it's all hollow inside?
No, that's a C-130. No, this is a civilian plane they put me on. They to ship me over to Japan. We stopped here and there. I can't remember, but from Japan, the ship had set sail and was due in the Philippines in a week or whatever. And so they shipped me from Japan to Clark, and then from Clark down to Subic, and to wait for the ship to come in within the next 2 days. So I'll never forget, I'm an 18-year-old brand new kid sitting in the barracks in Subic. I'm all lonely, my parents don't love me anymore, my girlfriend out of it, and I don't know anybody, and there's nobody in the barracks because I don't even remember what time of night it is. 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock. And I remember sitting on my rack with my bag just going, man, where in the hell am I and what have I done? And these two young sailors came in. Apparently they ran out of money or whatever in town, but they came back to the barracks to get some money, and they saw me sitting there and they're going, dude, what are you doing? Get up, get that, here we go. Put your civvies on, here we go. And they took me into a longapo. And that was
You put on your civilian clothes and you don't wear your uniforms like you see in the movies.
In transit you have always have your uniform on, but if you're going to go to town, you can put your civvies on. And,
interesting, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so I put my whatever on, and away we went into a longapo, and that was my first introduction to the Philippines. And I loved it.
And that was like 1970.
73.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you came here a long time ago.
Yeah. And I came back again in 2001, and at the time I was married, and a friend of mine was married to a Filipina, an attorney in California. And her family lived in San Juan in Luzon, just about north of Subic ways. And so while they were visiting her in Los Angeles, her husband and I, and her brother, who was a Filipino, but he was a Redwood City police officer, so the three of us decided to go back to the Philippines and keep an eye on the family's plantation. They actually owned a lot of an entire valley full of rice paddies.
Wow.
Yeah, so we went there to make sure that there were, the squatters, the family had come over 2 or 3 months, and during that time, the squatters would come in and just set up camp on the rice paddy, wherever they wanted, just fertile land. So we went back to do motorcycle trips through the Philippines and the rice paddies, and
what kind of motorcycles?
just little, whatever we found. I can't remember, like 250s, little rental, whatever we could find. But I remember sitting on the balcony of this family's house. It's kind of an open, cinder block house, similar to what we have here.
Yeah.
But decent in property, and they had tilapia ponds around the house and that, and the three of us were sitting out there having a cold one night, and her brother walks out, and he had a little, I think it was a Mac 9, but I had no idea, and he set it on a 4-round burst, and he came out on this quiet balcony, and we're having drinks and that, and he pulled the trigger and shot off a round out of this Mac 9, and I came out of the chair. I thought I was going to piss myself. I go, what are you doing? He goes, well, that will echo all the way through the valley, and all the squatters that are there will know that I'm here now, and they'll pack up and leave. And I thought, man,
that's a fair way to do it.
That's an alarm.
Yeah, that's
I would pack up.
That'll work. I'll leave.
I never forget him doing that. I turn around, I go, where did you get that? He goes, He said, this is the Philippines. You can get whatever you want. So after that,
when did you actually decide, like, I might actually want to live here?
well,
was it
all
then,
during that time. But I was married for 27 years, and always in the back. After that trip, I thought, you always have this little pipe dream as a guy. So, man, you know what? If you ever dump me, I'm going to move to the Philippines. But it would never come to fruition. 27 years, it was years later, and then we moved to the Dominican Republic. And we were there for 6 years, or I was, and I just kept saying, I was there for 2 years after my divorce, and I just wasn't, it wasn't happening for me. Wasn't into Dominican girls, and although they're nice people and that, but everything was Spanish.
Were you working there at the time, or?
No, I was retired.
You retired then?
Yeah, this is 2000. I think we moved there in 2013. And she left in 16, and then 17, 18, February 18, I was sitting around there, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to buy a ticket and go to the Philippines. So, and next thing you know, all my friends go, so who do you know there? Where are you going to go? Who do you know? So I don't know anybody. I'm just going to go. And
that's what I did. I didn't know a single person, never been there.
Nope. And I researched everywhere. How did you find out where to go?
I watched, I was going to go to Thailand, and then I saw Enrique's video about Dulce Vida.
Just going to say that, Enrique.
And I said, he has some good information. And I said, well, they speak English there. And I met a lot of, working on cruise ships, I met a lot of Filipinos, and they were always really nice. And I just started thinking, well, maybe it would be better to go there than Thailand because of the visa situation and everything. So I just bought a one-way ticket, saw what little I had left after a lot of other problems, and stayed at the Pyramid House for 2 weeks, and then went to Dulce Vita because of Enrique's video, and I loved it there.
Yeah.
Was there for almost a year.
Yeah. And are you not there now, yeah?
No, I'm at Big Rock now.
Okay, that's right. No, I was with you. I researched it. I remember every morning I'd sit in bed and have coffee in my beautiful little penthouse by myself, look at the palm trees in the Dominican Republic and think, man, this is exactly on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
It's exactly. The timing, the clock time is the exact same, like 11:30 at night here, there, and 11:30 in the morning here. And so I researched, and then and I did get on Enrique's, and I listened to his blogs. I listened to everybody's, but primarily him, and all the information. And so I decided, well.
And you came to Dumagetti, or?
I came to Dumagetti Studio Apartments down in Kandawai.
Wow.
And I stayed there for a month, right? And I met a lot of nice guys there, expats and whatever. Got a motorcycle and traveled, bounced around all over the place, you know.
Just around this island, yeah.
Just around here, you know. And I thought in my back of my mind, you know, this is a beautiful place. I'll come back here. You know, I really like it here. And then a day and a half before I was supposed to leave, my buddies there at the studio apartment said, well, let's go out to the Octagon again. And I'd been to the Octagon, you know, a few times.
I know the owners. I interviewed them on my channel.
Yeah. Well, the Octagon, I loved it, but it was all expats and their wives and their girlfriends. There wasn't a lot of, you know that.
Yeah, that's true.
Beautiful waitresses and great fun people, but you know, not a lot of opportunity to really meet anybody. So they said, let's go. I said, come on, man. I said, I'm leaving, and I got a lot of stuff to do. Mango, we rented a private tricycle. You have to go.
Private tricycle. Yeah. Wow, that'll convince anybody.
The three of us, and one guy, Jerry, the 77-year-old guy, he's just a hoot. And the younger guy, come on, Mango, we need you to go. So I jumped in this tricycle. We took off to the Octagon and sat down. And they said, oh, it's your curry chicken, your favorite. You have that, and then good to go. So we went there and sitting at the Octagon, look over, and there's little Missy with her girlfriend and her girlfriend's husband, and Jerry, my 77-year-old good buddy, decides that he's studying Visayan. So from what he thinks he is. So he decides to go up and tell my Lynn in Visayan about, hey, my friend just thinks you're hotsy-totsy, right? I go, dude, what are you doing? Come on, man, come on, I got this. Anyway, so that's how I met Len. Her girlfriend and her girlfriend's husband invited me to go play bocce ball.
Yeah, in the back there,
Yeah, so we went to play bocce ball, and ended up, my buddies goes, Mango, let's go. Jer's here with the tricycles here, you know, it's 11 o'clock, let's go. And I said, ooh, I'm not really ready to go yet. You know, I got chatting it up with my little sweetie here. He goes, I said, and she just like, she goes, I'll give you a ride. Right? She was 92 pounds. I said, I'll give you a ride. I go, give me a ride on what? I'm an old Harley boy. I don't ride on the back. She goes, no, I got a bike. I'll give you a ride. And I thought, you know,
what does she have?
That Honda Beat that my boys have, a little Honda 110 Beat. So I thought, at that point, you know, I don't care if she had a bicycle. I was, I was coming enthralled and had a few pops in me, and so I said, okay, see you guys, and off they went. So that's it. That's how I met Lynn. And then
you went back to the States still, or?
Oh yeah, I had to go. I mean, we talked. The next day we went to Talata and chatted a little bit and had lunch. And then the next day I left, man. I mean, I got to the airport and she drove me down there in the private tricycle. And I gave her a little smooch first time goodbye, and you know, I had never done anything. We just talked and that was it. And I went back to the Dominican Republic, and you know, then I was going to, well, I'm going to rent my place or sell it. But the Dominican real estate's similar to here, so it can sit for years. I don't want to wait for that. You know, I'm video chatting up this girl, so I need to get back to the Philippines. So a month later, I bought a ticket and came back. It's a 37-hour trip.
Yeah, I've been on them before.
It's horrible.
Horrible.
And then I stayed here for 2 months, and then went back, and I leased my condo for a year, because I needed that for income for here.
That's good.
You know, so I said, well,
Do you still have property back in the Dominican Republic?
No, I sold it. No, and it was amazing. I just thought, well, then I came back here for 2 months, You know, and now I'm really ready to live in the Philippines because Lynn's here. But now I'm established in the Philippines. I know what I'm going to do. And we had moved, and now we were actually signed a lease for this place up behind us on the hill.
Yeah.
And so I had to go back. And now I'm just going, I got to sell the place. You know, I'm going to try cheap sell it, whatever I need to do. The market's terrible. And I left it with a realtor friend of mine.
Yeah.
And came back here again. And this is back and forth and back
That's
and
a
forth.
long way to go going back and forth.
Let me
Wow.
tell you about it. And within a month, my realtor friend said, hey, I got a buyer on your place for another, you know, I was going to cheap sell it and it was like another 20 grand more than whatever. I said, whatever you can do, you know.
Wow.
So she sold it. You know, it was a beautiful thing because I thought, oh, what am I going to do here?
Yeah.
You know, rocking a hard spot. She sold it and everything just worked out.
Well, you're meant
really
to be.
well.
It's like it's meant to be.
Yeah, it was amazing. It really was.
Wow. Wow.
So we came back here and moved into this house up on the hill, and we've been there. It was a year, August 1st. So September, yeah.
Are you married now, or?
No, she can't get married. She's paper married. You know how the
Okay.
paper married
Yeah, I've heard
thing
about
is
that,
here?
yeah.
She got married when she was 19, I think, or 20, and had 2 kids. I think she was pregnant with the second one 6 months when he decided to get his new girlfriend and move to Manila.
Is he a foreigner?
No, she was Filipino.
Okay.
Yeah, she didn't want to get married, but you know, family pressures and that, whatever. So anyway, she got married and was pregnant with the second one, and he left, and so basically she had a really tough time, not unlike a lot of them.
They all do, yeah.
So now that's our 2 boys. We're a 13 and a 15-year-old, and super good
Who would have
guys.
thought, like, when you're back in Dominican Republic before you ever came here, that you'd have, you know, a girlfriend and wife, you know, with 2 teenage boys.
In a billion years, my idea was come to the Philippines. If I met somebody single, great, but I was going to have a motorcycle and just travel the islands for the rest of my life and be a
bachelor, enjoy your life.
have a great time.
Yeah.
And like you said, I would have never told you I lived on a hill with a dog, 2 teenage boys and Lynn, you know, and I can tell you how happy I am. I would have never called her.
Amazing.
And she loves motorcycles. You know?
Wow.
She details my motorcycles, and I try to tell her stop. No way.
My girlfriend does the same thing.
Ah, it's amazing.
Great.
Yeah.
Better than I could do it.
My sisters and stuff in the States like, what are you doing? I send pictures. I go, listen, my girlfriend is a godsend. Not only that she has a huge heart and everything about her, and funny and cute, and you know, I said, but she details my motorcycles.
What is the age difference between the 2 of you?
She is actually she's 37. She's old for a Filipina. That's what she tells me. She goes, I'm old for a Filipina.
Yeah.
You could have had way younger than me with no kids. I wouldn't trade her for the world. You know her.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
You got lucky.
She's 37, so yeah. And it's hard, you know, it's a hard pill to swallow for some of my friends in the States, probably my daughter most of all.
Yeah.
But, you know, if
you
you
can't
don't
live for somebody else and their approval, you know.
well, the thing is, here's the deal, Mark. If you don't live here, you can't understand it.
Yeah, right.
Because you know that there's no judgment here at all.
Yeah.
They don't care what you wear. They don't care if you're fat. They don't care whatever. And I just think that's amazing. If
I do
could,
too.
If I had a pill for that, I could distribute it in the States.
around the
It
world.
would be an amazing thing.
Yeah. I'm going to pause it here, and this will be the end of part 1.